Hi, welcome to God Stories today. My name's Chris Thompson. You guys coming? Hello everyone, it's Chris Thompson and this is God Stories today. This is my second interview. I'm interviewing Calum Davenport today, former Premiership footballer. Thank you so much for letting me interview you, Calum. It's been too long since we've seen each other, it really has. But it's great to see you today and thank you, as I said, for being willing to be interviewed. Before we carry on, I want to thank Laura Bushell-Hawke, the first interviewee. One, for her generosity in what she spoke about, in the way she spoke about it, and the tone and other such things. But equally, there's something obviously about her and about her ministry, because so many people have responded to that interview. So many people have commented to her, emailed her, phoned her up, and said that the Holy Spirit has stirred something in their hearts, and they're asking questions about life in a way that they just haven't been before. So thank you to God for that, and thank you to Laura Bushell-Hawke for that as well. Really, really wonderful thank you. Equally, still got the dodgy camera and the good camera, and the dodgy camera and the good camera. I'm saving up, guys, I really am. And then hopefully I'll be able to get a broadcast quality camera in addition to this broadcast quality camera sometime soon. You can check us out on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram as well. I've been going mad on all of those sorts of things, trying to get up and running. Please bear with me, because as much as those accounts are up and running, you can just look for God Stories Today on all of them. It's going to take a while for me to sort of, do that polishing thing so they are as I want them to be, or they should be. But do check them out. And yeah, let's start. Should we start?
Let's crack on.
Where were you born?
So I was born in Bedford, which is, I think it's about 50 miles north of London. Sort of sandwiched in between Bedford and, sandwiched in between Luton and Milton Keynes.
Gotcha.
Just born and raised with, got my sister, parents, and just football became my thing, really.
I was going to say, what was your favourite subject at school, but it was probably football.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And to be honest, I struggled at school. I ended up getting expelled from school at 15.
Really?
Yeah, not really. Just because my mind was so focused on football and stuff that was going on at home. I sort of got lost in school and got so far behind that I was being a bit of a clown, really. Not more out of embarrassment than I'd say I've got a little bit of intelligence about me, but I didn't use it. Back in my school time. So my school years were not great, if I'm being honest.
Mate, there's a lot of intelligence about you. I know you, so don't underplay yourself. I'm going to come back to that 15-year-old sort of expulsion in a minute, if I may. But just before that, was it always the case that, I know what it's like, because I used to love sport. Not so much football, got to be honest. I was much more into, when I was growing up, snooker was the thing, and I was well into that. But equally, on the other side of the physical extreme, I was well into martial arts. Growing up on the streets of South London, you had to learn either boxing or martial arts to look after yourself. You did. And I loved martial arts. So that's where my energies went, but not football. But I do remember when I did play football a little bit, I was always the last person to be picked.
Oh no.
Sorry, so I'm sorry. But I guess with you did you find yourself as a natural sportsman when you were growing up? Did you always get picked first? Were you always someone who was naturally fit?
At school I remember, cross countries and stuff, I'd always be picked to compete the year ahead and stuff like that. So I always had a natural fitness, but I don't know, I just guess football was my thing, really. My dad was a good footballer. He didn't play professionally, but he had good knowledge of and played at a good level. And I used to was tag around with him on a Saturday playing, and I just would sit and watch. Most kids would be going off and playing. All the other kids would be going off, or the sons, while the dads were playing, would be going to kick a ball around. But I used to sit there and watch. Like, I was fascinated by trying to learn, and even from a young age, you know, I'd be sat on the side watching, or in the dugouts with the managers, listening and just trying to learn.
So the tactical side really inspired you, as well as the playing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the tactical side, sitting in the dugout and studying the game, really inspired you. Can you describe what that felt like in your heart? What was that like when you sat there and you were looking at the players saying, "Oh, I would do this and I would do that and I'd move around"? I guess like a chessboard almost.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I actually enjoy that more than I did playing. I enjoyed the preparation, the build up, the making sure that I was as ready as I could be. So yeah, I just had a real interest in just watching and trying to piece things together, and I don't know. I just thought, I think I was just maybe a gift or something that comes natural. It wasn't hard, and I just really enjoyed it. So then, when it came to training myself and playing, I'd spent a lot of time watching and studying games. So you kind of just build that into your thinking, I guess, and it just seemed to come really easy.
And so was it also like a fascination in people, maybe, or am I stepping too far at such a young age?
No, I think the attention to detail, to watch body language, people move. So you kind of see patterns in how people, and I was always fascinated in dressing rooms before the game, watching people just to see if are they ready today, or are they different from before, and was really interested in the atmosphere of what was going on before, during the week, and seeing if that would play out and what the result would be at the end of the week. I was really fascinated in I didn't really understand, but trying to get the feel of people, of what was going on, and I don't know, I just had a real keen interest in that side of it, really, more so than the actual, you know, playing in front of big crowds and that. I didn't really get a buzz off that, if I'm being honest. I'm not that kind of person, but I just loved the game of football and watching people, to try and, you know, if you could have a word or of encouragement, or I've noticed this, and, you know, I was always a leader in the teams that I played in from a young age. So I was just keen to watch people. A bit weird, really. But
I would say you're a people person, from what I know of you, and your emotional intelligence, I think, therefore, is probably off the scale. I really like your ability to read a person, where they are in life, what they're going through, what makes them tick, what motivates them, what encourages them. I would suggest is incredibly high. And I would suggest that's probably a natural gift that God has given you, which is why when you sat in the dugout with your old man and you started watching those people, that gift started to come to the fore and it stirred your heart. Sorry, am I putting words in your mouth?
No, I think there's a real element of, you know, we've all got something, a gift to give, and mine has been developed over a lot of years. But I also think my environment growing up wasn't great, and when you're around a lot of people, you're forced to be observant, almost to duck out of the way when situations arise. I sort of spent a lot of time around people that used to drink, and you'd see their character change.
Right.
So you also develop an instinct to know when to get out of the way, like, you know, when it's going to kick off.
I'm tempted to delve into more of that, but I want to protect you on that one. Bless you, my friend. So maybe not leaving the subject too quickly, we could jump to when you were 15, like you just said, and you got expelled from school, and then we'll go on to the football thing more properly, if that's okay. I can imagine someone with your kind of giftings, your kind of attention to people and gifting for football, and all the environmental stuff in terms of family life and relationships being what they are, meaning that football for you was the thing that gave you life more than anything else. So you're going to give all that you are to it, as opposed to the academic work at school and this, that and the other.
100%.
Can you remember the immediate build-up, what was going on, if you're willing to share it? to the point where you were expelled at school?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it if you don't want to.
No. Honestly, I haven't really spent that much time thinking about it. Maybe I should. Yeah, I just developed somebody that I presented somebody that I wasn't. Like, okay. I was false. I was Jack the lad. I would keep people at arm's length of fear for them, figuring out my weaknesses. I didn't know what was going on in the classroom. I hadn't done homework. I wasn't prepared for GCSEs. So I just developed this keeping people, just and to stop them really figuring out who I was really, which was why my behaviour, I guess, was I was just disruptive in the classrooms. People are trying to learn and whatnot, and just a lack of respect, but out of my own inner fears really, that I'd got so far behind in my schoolwork. I was travelling here, there, and everywhere, up to Birmingham 3 times a week. Spent all my weekends in Birmingham, and just the schoolwork just become secondary. So when I was there, I just didn't use my time like effectively, really. And I guess out of respect for the other students that wanted to learn, it was best for me not to be there, like really. And that's kind of how it played out, really. It was more I was just pain in the backside, really.
How did you feel?
How did I feel? Well, look, do you know what? I actually got rewarded because
kids don't try this at home.
But this is the football world. So immediately getting expelled from school, I had football clubs saying, "We'll take him in. We'll get him a tutor. We want him to sign for us." Right. So on reflection, I was being rewarded for bad behaviour, really.
Yeah.
And there's got to be consequences, right? And at that point, it was football's bigger than rules, and it was wrong, really.
And did the notion of faith, Jesus, God, feature at any point during that season of your life?
Well, no, I spent most of my church with pubs, like on a Sunday.
Very spiritual places.
Yeah. So, but again, looking back, I feel my journey was God wasn't ready to reveal anything to me, because I had to experience and feel certain stuff about life before He was ready to start really like nudging me and Calum, I'm here. So there was a certain period, and that went till I was 21. So really up until that period, I was so fixated on football and fighting my way to the top, and bashing people out the way. However I was going to get there, I was going to get there. So up until the age of 21, it was all
fully
me. I'm going this way, and it was quite hard work, really. Yeah.
What? Actually, I should have said this at the beginning. What teams? Because I know you played for the England under-21.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you in a minute the classic question: what was that like, putting the England top on and running out?
Yeah.
But just very quick, just name the teams that you've played for.
So yeah, I the 3 teams that I was contracted to. I started at Coventry City, and then was moved to Tottenham, and then moved from Tottenham to West Ham, and then I had quite a number of injuries, quite bad injuries in between. So I had a few loan moves in between as well. Because I was quite impatient. If I weren't playing, I wanted to be off and playing somewhere. But yeah, again, that just represents my attitude. I was restless, even if I wasn't playing. I was, I think inwardly I was not at ease. So yeah, but I had a wonderful experience and learned a lot. Again, watching people, the higher up the chain you go in money sense, the bigger the egos, the bigger the problems, the bigger barriers that people put up. So yeah, learned a lot about being in an environment surrounded by big sort of financial gains that actually we've all got the same problem.
So you were pushing hard, fully focused, training hard, eating well. I've never met anyone who eats so well as Calum, but I'm a chocoholic, and it's just, just healthy all the way through. But just to cover this, because I'm sure people will want to know, and then, if there's anything sort of faith-like along the way, please do drop it in. What was it like to be a Premiership football player? I mean, there you are, you're playing for, you said Coventry, Tottenham and West Ham, amazing teams, and you put the t-shirt on, and you're doing what every guy possibly, and lots of women want to do, is run out onto that pitch with everyone cheering. Yeah. And you're there to do the thing you feel naturally gifted for. I mean, and the money's off the scale as well, I would imagine. And wow, what's that like?
Yeah. Well, again, behind what the media portray, each of us have got a motivation to succeed. Why do some people succeed and don't? And there's only a select few that particularly make the Premier League nowadays. It's tough. And really, my growing up with a broken family, that really became my embedded in me in when it became cold and wet and no one was quite shying away from it. I used to rise because I wanted when I had a family, I didn't want them to sort of grow up with the experiences that I did with a broken family. So football was a way a vehicle to get me to ultimately my dream. My dream wasn't to play in big stadiums and in front of people. My dream was to grow up, get married, have a family, and have a stable kids and have a stable life and give them an education that I didn't have, which I've been fortunate enough to do. So running out and stuff like that wasn't part of my. I guess that would be me. Look at me. I don't think I was ever really interested in that, if I'm being honest. I know maybe some people I just didn't like the attention. I liked the preparation, but it was all for a bigger picture. Although God wasn't involved, my dream was to, for my family, really.
So did you, when you were fully focused on football, did you feel like, not that there's anything wrong with football, I really want to uphold that now. I'm not saying faith versus football or faith versus anything. Football and the rest of it, it's a fantastic thing. But because you were fully focused on that and pretty much that alone, and you had the situation that you've alluded to with your family and stuff, and probably the viewers would like us to go further into that, but I'm going to pause on that unless you really want to. Did you ever sort of think to yourself, I guess the very, very busy sort of season, if I might use that word within the context of football, of up until 20, of something lacking in your life? Was there something lacking which you can now look back on and say, that was God?
100%. Yeah, I think my on the outside, my career was going, one way. You take some knocks along the way, but I just had a mindset of knockback I'd take as a positive. I think a lot of us take knockbacks, and it hurts, and we stop, or we get stuck, or we quit. I had no other option. This was, I've only got this. I've got no education. My family's not great. Football's everything. So this was my vehicle, and I succeeded really in that. But my character and who I was just non-existent. I had no real role models. I was looking around. Although my dad spoke into the area of football into my life, and I believed 100% what he said about me, and he'd tell me how good I was, and he really spoke positively. But then on the other side, in normal everyday life, things weren't sort of great, and that's where I got stuck really, and things were coming out in my behaviour along the way that I was kind of like, consciously, this is not right. I'm repeating stuff that I didn't like when I was young.
Right. Do you want to elaborate on that behaviour? You don't have to.
No, it's not a problem. Like obviously because I played sports and stuff. When we'd have downtime, I'd go out and drink too much, and then emotionally things would surface that they don't come to the surface
Yeah.
every day because I'm so busy with life and work and stuff like that. But then when I try and switch off and socialise with my mates that I grew up with and have too many, things would just emotionally be like...
So it's an explosive time.
Yeah, and that's what I grew up around. People would have loads of drinks and then things would kick off, and I was kind of like, this is...
Not good.
Yeah, this is not good. Mm-hmm. And I think my conscience was convicting me of that.
So that's interesting. Your conscience was convicting of you of that. And you also mentioned a few moments ago that you needed to, I guess, almost like in that Joseph sort of way, Joseph from the Bible, sort of experience life a bit so that your heart would be more open to God knocking on your door to your life. And you mentioned the age of 20 as a pivotal moment. So
21 I was, 21.
Sorry, 21.
Yeah.
So you've God has been probably working in your life without you even knowing it. And you've reached the top in the Premiership, as it were, and then something happens at the age of 21, and it seems like God comes a knocking. What happened?
Yeah, so I was at Tottenham, not been there that long, and we had a South Korean left back called Young Po Lee, who's a Christian.
Right.
Didn't know he was a Christian. Didn't know much about him, to be honest. Although I played alongside him, he was very quiet, very humble. Just different in the changing room, you know, the lads banter and, you know, you could just imagine it. He was just different. He was like calm, collected. He just caught my attention. And I came into training one day and there was a Bible on my kit where our training kit would get put out and there was a Bible on there. And I kind of looked around and no one else had a Bible on their place. So I was like, what's going on here? Is this the wind up or what? And he walked past me and kind of just said, Callum, you're ready. I'm thinking, ready? What are you on about ready? And we had a bit of banter and stuff. But I think I've still got it somewhere, but we've got some stuff in storage and stuff like that because we've moved. But I think I've got the Bible somewhere. And I just really connected. That was the first time I just stopped and paused for that moment. It was the same every day, coming in, but there was a moment.
How did it feel? Can you remember?
I remember thinking, like, what does he see? Like, what is he?
Yeah.
Why? It's all of us. Why me?
Did he ever explain why he said you're
no,
ready?
that was it. I never asked him.
He just sensed it. Holy Spirit moment, maybe.
He just whether he's being obedient or and he'd, I don't know. But I always used to just make sure, are you right, Lee? Good morning. How you doing? Family all right? Just like stuff like that, really.
But that experience affected you, even if you, at the time, maybe sidelined it. I'm using all these football terms.
Yeah, you're right. It was, he caught my attention first.
Right.
And I started thinking, like, he's different. How does that, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is in this? So that was, but that was as far as my thinking went, mate. Then I was back
to the football, back to the booze.
Back to whatever was going on at the time, and that was it. And then life just carried on as it was.
And what happened after that? What did God do to come a knocking after that?
So we had another guy who texts me every morning and every night. He's an old boy, lives in my village. But the picture I had of him, his name's Mick. He's an amazing guy.
Uh-huh.
But just he's amazing who God uses. His outward appearance, from the world that I was in, a football world, is always what you look like and watches and just all materialism stuff. He was the complete opposite, bless him.
What a guy.
Yeah. But I had to move some stuff out of a flat in London, and he was the local removals guy, and I couldn't hire a van because I'd lost my license, and for insurance reasons they couldn't loan me a van. So they said, "Oh, we know this guy Mick," and up turns me. I was thinking, "Oh no, this guy's from my. This is the guy. This, yeah." But you know how you tell yourself a story about someone without knowing them. Yeah. So I'd built. He looks like this, so he must be this, and he lives there, so he must. But that whole day that I spent with him, he was helping everyone. He was telling me what he did for the church, and I come away thinking, wow, this guy is different. And he was like Jürgen Poli. He was different, and I think God was showing me that it's you know, it's on the inside.
So there's two examples here of the living God making such a difference in people's lives that you can sense through your people skills probably that there is something different about them, and it's making you quietly question to a certain degree in your heart. You mentioned in the subtlety of all that you lost your license. Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah. I got again, as I touched on earlier, that the times that I would sort of blow out, I guess, have blowouts or was free time, I'd just have no qualms of sort of, you know, I'll drive.
All right.
I grew up and I got done for it, and I actually got done twice. I'm so embarrassed to admit.
What, speeding or drink driving?
No, drink driving. I got done twice. I nearly went to prison.
All right.
The second, it was because it was such a short space of time. I got a year the first time. The second time I got a 3-year ban.
Your insurance premium must have been off the scale. Second time round, it's like
it was just like, you know, I was pretty. Again, just emotionally, I would just and sense of just I didn't really have a care really.
Gotcha.
You know, but it was more. In the times when I look back, getting done drink driving, I'd be like, oh, I'll drive, I'll take the rap, I'll do it. I don't, you know. So, just immaturity, stupidity. Again, yeah, two harsh lessons, and I was blessed really because I was so close. I should have really the arrogance and ignorance of doing it twice. That they should have thrown the book at me really.
Wow, what a journey. And we've only just started. Right. So what happens then? You know, you had Mick, Mick, he's done his thing, and what's the next stage on the knocking into your life, as it were?
So, from sort of meeting Mick and then my career just takes a U-turn again. The family, my dream of getting away from.
Yeah.
And using football to have a family was going well, but this one particular evening, me and my sister had a blaze, and my dad had a blazing row over the guy that she was dating, and it just something snowballed into him he stabbing my mum and stabbing me 9 times and ending my career. And it's kind of like,
are you okay with this going out?
Yeah, mate. Honestly, it's I know this is going to sound nuts, but it's probably it's the biggest blessing I think I've had in my life. Really? I know that probably sounds because I've learned so much about how do we get to a point where we want to physically harm somebody. Like what causes that? And again, I was just intrigued about. I want to know why. I want answers, not answers from why did he do it? Why did he do it? I wanted to know about, you know, why we behave the way we do, humans. Why do I behave the way I did?
Mate, that's a real gift you've got there. I want to encourage you in that because part of my vocation is to help people see their vocation, and I want to encourage you in that and let God sort of use that and deploy that accordingly. So
I was just excited, mate. I was thinking of something so horrendous. I don't think we're made that way. How do we get? What causes us to get our thinking and our action to that?
Right.
That really like.
So what causes us to sort of stop and pause and say, where have we got? Why have we got to where we've got?
Yeah, I was intrigued to know how he would. The guy that did that. I wanted to just understand more. Rather than blame. I had a role to play in it as well. So yeah, just set myself off on a journey because you know, who am I really? I'm no one. But on the back of that, so yeah, the next stage on the back of that, Mick turned up at my door and
oh, good old Mick from the village.
Yeah.
Was he texting away still?
No, he weren't texting me, but at this
Everyone
point,
needs a Mick.
this was after that, and he said I was like, I was in hospital for a month, and then I came home and I couldn't do anything, so I was housebound really, and he turned up with a big bowl of fruit and stuff from his church, and I thought, a lot, the media are on me about who I was and this and that and my family and putting everything out. And I'm quite to think I'm doing this. I like to be private, really. And he turned up with his fruit saying it's from my church, and I was like, oh, it really touched me again. I was thinking everyone's against me, but Mick, he's always there.
Does he have wings? Did he turn up?
He's just amazing. And then. He gave me the DVDs, the Alpha DVDs, the old ones. And I said to the wife, can't we watch these? Because I really like him.
Love Alpha.
And at least when I see him, I actually wanted to talk to him. So I thought, this will give me something to talk to. So we put the first one in. You meant to watch sort of like one a week. I think we watched the whole of
binged
it. Yeah, we just went bang, bang, bang. And I thought, now what do we do? And he invited us to church. HCC, so church in Hitchin, so not from where I was. No one knew me. It was kind of nice because everyone always sees the footballer, and no one knew me. I walked in there, no one judged me, no one, and there was a prayer board with my name on, a few prayers on. I was thinking, how many people don't even know me, but they're taking their time to write down a prayer and put it. And I just hadn't experienced any of this, mate, and was just a bit like, why are these people so nice? Like, what have they got? So we started going to church for about a year, every Sunday, and just seeing people worship. And again, I guess it's my watching and seeing what it's all about. It took a while, and then we went to Florida on holiday. We took me, the wife, and my two girls, Angel and Nara. Been with Zoe, my wife, we've been married for 12 years. Is
this the story now?
Yeah, this is.
Stand by, everyone.
So you think I've been going to church? I've never prayed, mate. And it's all a bit weird for me, and it's all a bit like, I felt a softness that I was softening, and my mind was seeing things differently. And we're in Florida, and we've got a nice villa, and I'm in the pool in the back, and no one's around. And I'm thinking, right, I'm gonna pray. So I actually have a little look round and see if anyone's watching me. I was that embarrassed, but I said, right, I'm gonna go under the water. That's what I'm telling myself. I'm gonna go under just in case anyone's watching. So I go under the water and I pray a prayer like something like, God, if you are real. I've been watching for a year. I need. How do I know? I want to know. Please show me how I know. And I came back up out of the water, and I was like, "Does anyone see me? Back into, I was in a moment, and I came back into, I hope no one see me, and all embarrassed and stuff. And at that moment, this red plane it was like everything else was silent, and this plane was so loud. It probably wasn't, but at that moment to me it was. And it flew right over where I was, and wrote right above the villa, "Trust Jesus" in smoke out the back of the plane.
Literally spelt somehow, which must have been some skill from the plane.
You know how the plane's right with smoke, shh, and it wrote "Trust Jesus" right in front of me, and I was. Mate, I had this feeling.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, wow. But all the issues, really, issues or problems and the emotional that were coming out was all from a trust, from a lack of. I hadn't, around me growing up, I had no one really that I could 100% trust. And I was doing life on my own, and I can do it, I can do it, I can do it.
And you had been in a sense.
Yeah, and I was kind of convincing myself of it, but in patches around me, I was, I wasn't compassionate to people. I probably was, but I was on this journey to get away from where I come from because of the lack of trust. And then when that was, trust Jesus. It was the trust. I couldn't put trust anywhere, and he was telling me, like, I'm here, hello.
That is truly astonishing.
Yeah.
Delving into how you felt, if I may,
Yeah.
at that point, because you said that a year had pretty much passed since the horrible attack,
Yeah.
which had ended your career.
Yeah.
You no doubt had spent that entire year adjusting to what that meant. You spent all your life dedicated to football, learning about players, what makes them tick, learning about the game itself, becoming a professional of the highest degree in it. It was everything to you. And then suddenly it's taken away from you. And you're adjusting. I mean, for a lot of people that would have sent them to Lally. Really would have been like identity issues, a sort of an early midlife crisis, the whole thing. And may well be that you touched on some of that in anguish, I don't know. But it's certainly, perhaps I could say, from what you said at the beginning of this interview, that God needed to prepare your heart, had maybe fast forwarded you to a place where you were receptive. And you'd also had a life where trust was an issue. And suddenly your heart is open. Suddenly you're aware that God knows you more than you know yourself. And knows thus that a trust thing is an issue for you as well. And literally, and that gets some pilot to write "Trust Jesus" in the sky. Now, no doubt other people saw that, no doubt it was for other people as well, but certainly you could say it was solely for you as well.
Oh, 100%.
How did you feel?
How did I feel? I was so excited. I had this burst of like, I just want to tell it. So I ran in to say, babe, like, to my wife, come and have a look at this, and she came outside and she was like, yeah, like, look at, yeah, and I was like, babe, I just prayed this prayer, and then she started putting a bit of a damper on it, like, really, and I was like, yeah, babe, honestly, I like, and she didn't quite share the moment with that I thought she was, but I was just so excited, because people can't see inside of us, but God, God knows everything about us. So it was just like, wow, I didn't know what was coming next or what life was going or anything like that, but just to have that at that moment was just like, whew.
So would you say that was the moment that you became a Christian?
No, I think I didn't commit myself there to the Lord, but in my heart that was a big. I think my heart was open, but my head was not there. It was going to take a little bit more time to catch up.
Someone could make a movie out of that experience. I just want to say that really good.
But yeah, so it's just it took a while and then God started using other people on the other side of my career. So that my football was up to that point, and then it's kind of like, right, we're tilting the other side now. Now we're going to start working on who you are, and then we're going to start putting people in place.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we, on the back of where I lived in Bedford, we felt a fresh start. This woman, my daughter's the eldest Angel, is a swimmer, and she spoke. I was speaking to a parent one morning at swimming on Saturday morning, and she said, "I wish I could afford to take my daughter or pay for her to go to a swimming school in Plymouth." And the way she said that, I thought she didn't even know, but I was like, it was like clear. It was like
really?
Plymouth, and I was thinking,
it's quite away from Bedford.
yeah, and I was thinking swimming school, like. So I phoned. I said, "Babe, I feel we should. I heard about this swimming school. I think we should inquire about it for Angel." And it's just funny how you think you're doing it.
Angel being your daughter.
My daughter. Yeah, you think you're moving for your kids, and we were, but actually, looking back, that it was a time for a new season, and we relocated to the southwest, and she's now at Mount Kelly School, which has got a facility for swimming, and they take care of. And the first person to ring me as we was to relocate was the chaplain of my daughter's school. His name's Richard Bates, and he's kind of like he's my mentor really. He's an absolute. Now I meet with him. I've met him this morning actually.
Did you?
Yeah, for an hour. we meet once a week and we just share different things, and he's helping me mature in my journey. And
that's great.
And I think everyone should have a mentor, someone they meet with regular, just to bounce stuff off. And he phoned me up and said, Reverend Bache from the school chaplain, we've got a staff v student game. We'd like you to come and play, if you're willing. I said, yeah, that's fine. But I was avoiding him. I said, babe, everywhere I go, like God's on me. Like, I said, just move it. I said, they give me 5 minutes, please.
God's on me.
And she was like, ring him back, don't be rude. And so I agreed to play. Then he said, will you come and speak to the kids after if they got a few questions? And I was giving them all this spiel about self-belief and, all the just nonsense really about me. And but he said to me, can I ask you a question, Calum? I said, yeah, you can ask me anything you want. He said, so what do you believe now?
This guy's pretty awesome.
And I came away, and that question, I come away scratching my head thinking, I don't know. So he said, would you like to meet up? I said, yeah. He left that question lingering. I thought, I can't leave it on this note. So when we met up, I started telling him about my journey, and I feel God's been right there, like. And we started meeting up over a period of time, and he was so gentle with me. I got to the place of I'd backed myself into a corner of life.
Right.
And it was like I've experienced everything really that it says is good. And it's caused me nothing but problems really.
Really?
So we was in Costa Coffee, and he said a prayer, I repeated a prayer and gave my life to Christ back in 2017.
What a guy.
Yeah, and from then, like my mate Mick, who texts me every day, I meet with Reverend Richard Bache once a week, and we've been, we did a similar sort of talk at the filling station. There's a teacher there from a school. She invited us in, so we've been doing quite a few schools, just sharing a bit about life. It's going to have ups and downs. And just it's how you with God on your side, when trouble comes, you can almost enjoy getting through the problems rather than getting stuck on them or retreating in who you are. So yeah, just a real journey, mate, of career stopped. Now, for the Lord saying, "Calum, I want to work on who you are."
So what if you could put it in a nutshell? What difference has Jesus made to your life?
Oh, in a nutshell, it just gives me like purpose, you know, and it opened my thinking to. We can become so narrow-minded on everyday problems and people, what they say, what they do, but it's opened me up to, this is eternal life's eternal life. This is not even reality. This is just to get us to our ultimate destination. So it's just opened me up really to actually we've all got flaws and people. We don't need to be so sensitive and now sort of being part of a church plant that's.
I was going to say, God's using you now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you've been through this incredible character journey of him also knocking on the door to your life, you then giving yourself to the Lord. He's now using you.
Yeah.
And can I just say, you would make a great minister.
Oh, really?
You really would. You would be a great priest. You really would. But equally, like alongside that, because it's not an either or necessarily, I think you'd be a great. Like if I was a manager of a football team, I think I hope you don't mind me saying this.
No, you follow me.
I think you'd be like, with your people skills, your tactical skills, your experience of football. I mean, you'd be an amazing addition in a sort of coaching stroke chaplaincy sort of mentoring way to any team in any league in the country. I really do.
Oh, bless you. I don't. I'm very, I don't know, mate. I'm just very, in terms of what I can offer, I'm still figuring out what it is God wants me to do, really. Football's what I know, it's what I love, and human behaviour across the board is the same. So, I think there's a lot of emphasis on the game of football itself, and it needs attention to detail. Of course, it does. But first and foremost, you've got to be sensitive to what's going on around you, and I just find people give you all the information.
Yeah.
If you care, if you're looking, then you can react, and you can unlock people and put football on top of that.
I've got it. You're a spiritual leader. That's it. You're a people person. You've got this emotional intelligence. It's a real gift. It really is. But I think you're a spiritual leader, because that to me is what a spiritual leader needs. You need to be a person, he or she, who's able to see where people are, what makes them tick, what's lacking, what's not, what the gifts are, and to make that blossom.
Yeah.
And I think that's you.
Yeah. I think we can. I don't know if there's. I'm looking for a title. I just like to unlock. I'd like to see individuals unlocked. And I don't think that I'm the person to do that. I can certainly share what's unlocked me, and I've felt a hell of a lot of good and bad. And I believe Jesus is the only person that can truly knows us individually. He can use people to get alongside people, which he's done with me, with Mick, like yourself, that we've spent time together, with Reverend Bash. It's all relationship, but only he can get inside and unlock whatever is locked in us.
With this in mind, what would you like to say to all of the football supporters out there, male and female, with reference to who Jesus is?
I would just say we're all going to be we're all influenced by something, whether that's following Jesus or looking to your parents, and for me, I just found that I was placed in situations where people constantly let me down, and I was kind of like, that can start to grate on you. And I think, and I just, the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, the word is the only thing that it doesn't change. It's the same today, yesterday, tomorrow, blah, blah. It does not change. Your opinion and my opinions are going to fluctuate depending on how we feel, how much coffee we've had or not had. Do you know what I mean? The word of God does not change, and the more we get the word in us, the more in our minds, the more our behaviour and who we actually are gets revealed and comes out. And that's and also just in the church, I can sit in a church on a Sunday and be fed, but not. I believe that Jesus wants to teach you on the move. So he wants to, as you're going, and that's what I feel he's been doing
his
with
disciples.
Yeah, with me and my wife. We, being part of a church plant, we're learning stuff, and you're like,
your wife is awesome. So much energy.
But that's another blessing. She's
a Christian as well. Isn't she?
Yeah, she's. How we put her alongside me. I'm probably a bit. I don't say unstable, but a bit inconsistent. But she's so consistent. Probably we're so opposites, but she's been the one consistent. Okay,
quick fire questions, if that's okay, just to finish up with. And this is just fun, but equally at the same time, I actually think they're quite important.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a self-indulgent sort of thing. Okay, so it's kind of like the first thing that comes to your mind, all right? So you don't think too much, okay? The thing you can't live without, what is it?
Family.
Well done, like that. The job you'd most like to have?
England football manager.
Woo! For the next question, I've got to reach over here, and I've got to reach down here, and I've got to let you hold that.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Been a while.
How many keepy uppies can you do?
Loads. Yeah, loads. They bore you to tears.
Craziest thing you've ever done? Maybe you shouldn't answer that.
Oh yeah, pass.
Oh, this is the classic one. You're on a desert island. 3 things that you can take.
3 things that I'll take. Well, I'm a real big book man now. I read quite a lot. I never used to. Real passion of mine. So I'd say a book, and then my wife and kids.
Wonderful, wonderful. If you had a time machine, what era would you go to?
I'd want to go back to the 80s. That's when it.
The 80s.
Well, that's when my life started. I want to start again.
Cool. Favourite cereal?
Favourite cereals. What have I had treaties today? Crunchy nut cornflakes.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Oh, milk chocolate.
Can you reverse park?
Yeah, I've actually got a HGV lorry license.
You have not?
Yeah, so I can hopefully should be able to reverse a big.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's brilliant. When you meet Jesus face to face, what's the first thing that you'd like him to say to you?
I just like a big man hug. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I thought the same thing.
Just come here. I think that would say it all. I think.
When you meet Jesus face to face, what's the first thing that you'd like to ask him?
That moment in Florida.
Mm.
I just want to dig a little bit deeper on that.
Cool answer. Cool answer. Best football player in history.
Well, I can, there's obviously stats and the records are out there that have been broken, but playing when I played was Michael Carrick, who's now assistant manager at Manchester United. He played in front of me at Tottenham, the games that I played, and just, I guess a bit like, because I like his seeing things on a deeper level, his awareness, the way he read the game, what he went on to achieve, obviously, but just his level of intelligence about the game, and his manner, his emotional control, the way that he played. He's really stood out for me.
Oh, wonderful. And who's the best player in the world right now?
Best player in the world right now. Being an Englishman, I'm going to have to say Raheem Sterling.
Right,
He's scoring
cool.
a hat-trick Friday. Was it Friday?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'd say Raheem Sterling. He's took some stick as well, so I like it when people, they take some stick, but he's getting the fruits of it now. So yeah, I'm really pleased for him.
Bless. Callum, you've been an absolutely wonderful interviewee. You really have. And as I said, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's been really wonderful. It really has. I feel truly humbled by your generosity in coming along and saying what you've said. Is there anything else you'd like to say? It doesn't have to be. I just want to give you that opportunity in terms of your journey.
No, just thanks to you, mate. What you're doing here is like just amazing.
Bless you, mate. With that in mind, I'm going to say, if you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe and tell people about it, that'd be great. I think that's what I need to say. Equally, this whole channel, yes, I will be interviewing high-profile people, and I'm doing that for the fun of it, and why not? But actually, the mainstay is to interview. The core thing is to interview people who pretty much no one knows about, sort of like those unsung heroes, really, who just kind of like quietly
like your Mix.
Yeah, like Mick. Yeah, I should interview Mick, shouldn't I? Mick, give me an email. The email address is going to appear, I hope, on the screen. Mick, drop me an email. And it's the mix of the world presently that I feel this channel is about. It's those unsung heroes, as it were, And I think I'm using the word hero correctly. They're probably going to sort of shy away from that dramatically, and that's part of their charisma as well, and that's the beauty of it. But it really is those people who and are those people who are just getting on with what God is calling them to do. It's not about ego, it's not about platform, it's not about any of that. But God is using them to do astonishing things, sometimes quietly, sometimes not so quietly, but they just get on with it.
Yeah,
and in 20 years of ministry, I've come across so many people like that. And I just felt God say, okay, record their stories. So if that's you,
all the
drop me an email.
unsung heroes, we're just going to call them Micks now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you're a Mick or a female Mick, drop me an email. The email, as I said, should hopefully come up. And also check us out on social media. Laura, she prayed for all of the viewers to sign us off. I don't want to pressurise you, but if you'd be willing to
yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, let's pray.
Yeah, just pray for this and everyone who's watching.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Lord, I just want to thank you for today, and thank you for the equipment and everything that you've provided to make this happen. I pray that you bless viewers watching this, and that in some way, like you've done in and through my life, you'll touch their heart and open them up. Again, I thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for watching, everyone. Mate, you've been brilliant.
I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.